searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way.
Well, the bad news is that 2025 didn't have quite such a good start for me because of how I started the year sick with pneumonia. And I've been dealing with that for almost 3 weeks now. And I'm still recovering, but at least I'm starting to get better. But the good news is that I have still been able to spend a lot of my time writing, reaching some of my writing goals. Back in November, I made a list of goals that included about 23 goals that I want to complete by the middle of March, with the aim that I would complete at least 10 of those goals. So far I've completed about 6 of them. The goals that I've completed include writing some good thorough outlines for some of my works in progress. It was a good learning experience. I learned from it that I need to remember to not rush to write an outline. I've always needed to first brainstorm a lot before I do any sort of outlining. I never really had any kind of specific number, but I just need to first have at least a couple pages of no sort of structure, just a bunch of bullets of different kind of ideas that I have for what will happen and how these ideas will eventually connect to each other. That's how it works for me as a planster when I'm doing both my planning, plotting, and also my pantsing part of writing. Another milestone is that I wrote draft 3 of the first 4 chapters of my primary work in progress. I'm really happy because of how I was able to see my writing improve so much with it. I do still need to finish with draft 2. Then when I have that done, I'm going to then work on a new outline and then get the rest of draft 3 done. But I have draft 3 of the first 4 chapters because of how I'm pretty solid on what happens in the first 4 chapters. And I'm soon going to bring that to writers' workshops. I have a few volunteer alpha readers and beta readers, and where I live there's a few writers' workshops that I want to join and check out. I'm also going to be trying to work on reading more books as well. There are a number of pretty cool story challenges on BookTube that I'm joining in, and a lot of these challenges are on Storygraph. Storygraph is a fairly new reading platform, and I like it better than Goodreads. And while I have joined some challenges, I've also created my own challenge, and so that's going to be a separate video. I'm hoping that with my Read More Books by Reading Short Books challenge, I'll be able to read at least 50 books this year. And if it goes really well, I might be able to read 100 books this year. So 2025 is going to be a pretty cool, exciting year, even if it had a bad beginning by being sick with pneumonia. I'm visiting the cemetery where my brother was laid to rest. Today is his birthday. He would have been 32 years old. I definitely need to remember how, important as my goals and ambition are, how nothing is more important than family. It's a reminder to me to just focus on the positive. There are so many people out there in the world who just focus so much on negative things, and they seem to think that it's what, fills some void in their life or makes them happy. They just love to hate. But I've come to find that what you really need to do is focus on the positive. If you're a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer, please focus on the positive things in life. That's what will really truly make you happy. Before you dwell on books you hate or movies you hate, try to dwell a bit more on books you love, movies you love. And in the end, I think the greatest, most important thing that'll help keep you happy is to just have that attitude of, I'm going to be better. You know, in this cemetery, I also have an aunt who was buried here. I'm sad about how she also died pretty young. And she also didn't have the chance to enjoy my writing, and I just hope now that I can remember as I focus on it, I want to get it out there so then people have the chance to enjoy it, and I want to make sure my writing is good so then it's worthy of being enjoyed, worthy of being read. Focus on the positive. Count your blessings. I spent much of the weekend finishing reading this book, Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Yeah, I don't treat book covers that well, that's why it's so worn out, but it means that I really loved it. This book is a really good dystopia in space that takes place on Mars that also has some dark academia and also some high fantasy vibes, you know, though it is science fiction. It's definitely very dark, one of the darkest dystopias. In fact, I felt it's even like darker and more brutal than the Hunger Games. One of the things I like about it is that you really love the protagonist, Darrow. You really see his, suffering and his motives. One thing that was kind of an issue for me is that, I can easily get confused, and there were times when the plot and events would get pretty, confusing. Though one of the things that I like is that it has a lot of good plot twists in it. Darrow experiences being tricked a lot, but then he finds ways to turn the tables and to trick others. It's especially really great the way it ends. So if you like dystopia science fiction, this is pretty good. So today is January 26th. It is the birthday of author Shannon Hale. She was born on this day in 1974. Shannon Hale has written some of my favorite books, including Princess Academy and Forest Born and Book of Thousand Days. She's written this book series for young readers called The Princess in Black. I've read the first 3 and they are so cute. It's a collaboration she did with her husband, Dean Hale, and illustrated by, I hope I say it right, LeUyen Pham. So tonight, to celebrate, I'm going to try to read a few more of these. If I could read 4, that would be great. That'll put me back on track for my reading goals this year. So after I have dinner, I will get down to that and see how it goes. Today is February 1st, and I'm hoping today will be the day when I get to fulfill my goal of writing all day for a day. So my plan is to spend at least 8 hours writing today. It is almost noon, so I'm hoping that, basically from about noon to 9, I'll be able to focus on just writing. I will still take a few breaks during that time, so breaks for meals and just, any other necessities. I'm all excited to get down to that, so let's see how it goes.
Just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the Savannah. I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the whole, Savannah.
Well, excellent news. I have spent the past 7 hours writing, which means I'm now very close to being able to mark that off of my list. Yeah, today I joined a number of wonderful live streams with other booktubers and writers, joining in some reading and productivity sprints, and I just spent that working on my writing. My primary focus was that there's a part of my manuscript where I needed to cut at least 1,000 words, and so today I've been able to look through about 26 pages so far and cut 800 words so far, so that makes me pretty happy. And I'm getting very close to my write all day goal, since I've written for about 7 hours today. I also took some time to work on character profiles. As I progress on creating draft 3 for the early chapters, it's going to be a bit easier to go forward if I have my character profiles in place. So that tends to be one of the things that can make the writing the most difficult, is if I have flat character development. So my writing profiles have helped a lot. I've made my own character profile template based on the one that Gail Carson created for her book Writing Magic. And I also put in a few other fields of things that I like to look at to help create a multi-dimensional character, inspired kind of partly from some other books about writing that I've read about character development. Well, now I'm going to take a dinner break. It's 8:30 p.m., but I did have a light lunch and an afternoon snack, so that's why it's only now that I'm ready to have some dinner. So after my dinner break, I'll write for another hour or two and then see where it goes.
Who draws the line between forgery and feeling inspired? Who defines derivative versus being admired? Who decides what original means? Who aspires and who's the wannabes? Upon the shoulders of giants, I've got a long way to drop. Oh, I never get here on my own. See the view from the
top. Today sure feels like the perfect day. I was able to write for over 8 hours today. And while working on my writing revisions, I was able to cut 1,100 words. I have to give a shout out to the wonderful booktubers who have hosted reading and productivity live streams that have helped to keep me going. I have a link below to a playlist for other booktubers out there who deserve to get some attention. So my success today, completing one of my goals, has just really boosted my confidence, like just way up there. I have 23 goals that I hope to complete by middle of March. So far, I have completed 8 of them, and my hope is that I would complete at least 10 of them, so I'm definitely on a roll, making good progress. I also have to thank a lot of my inspiration to just reading some nice short and sweet books. In the past few days, I've read more of the books written by Shannon, Hale, and Dean Hale, The Princess in Black. If you have little kids, be sure to get these for them. They're pretty perfect for ages 7 to 10. I'm going to work on finishing up some non-fiction books that I've been reading. I also hope to read some books that I've been wanting to read. So altogether, despite having pneumonia, January ended up being a pretty good month for me. It was a good step to progress with both my writing goals and reading goals. And I hope that February will be a good month for reading for me, since I'll be joining in Donna-Marie-Reads Readathin. And of course, also make sure that I work on my self-care. I have some spring cleaning to do. And also hope to take some time to just have a bit of fun. And I will definitely still be working on my writing, since I have promised some alpha and beta writers that I will have something for them soon. Whatever goals you're working on, I hope you'll be able to fulfill them. And I'll report back later on this spring on how well things went and what's still ahead. If you've been able to achieve anything so far this year, or if you're working on some goals that you hope to achieve either next month or this year, feel free to share them below. Until next time, the Eccentric Raven signing out.